Hey guys, welcome to the Pulling Curls podcast. Today on episode 147, we are talking about mom shaming. It's a hot topic. I don't know why, but let's untangle it. Hi, I'm Hillary Erickson, the curly head behind the Pulling Curls podcast, where we untangle pregnancy, parenting, home, and even travel. We know there's no right answer for every family, but hopefully we can spark some ideas that will work for yours. Life's tangled, just like my hair. Okay, guys, before we get started, just subscribe. It's so easy. I know you have a favorite podcast player. Just tap on it. Find the Pulling Curls podcast and then hit subscribe. I met today's guest on TikTok. I bet a lot of you know her on there, where she swaddled a chicken, which actually scared the bejesus out of me, but that's a podcast for another day. She has been a nurse for like 10 years, but has done labor and delivery for 4 years. We are obviously kindred spirits. I want to introduce today's guest, Jen Hamilton. Are you overwhelmed by all there is to do around your house? As a new mom, I felt overwhelmed at every turn. Fortunately, I turned to systems to make a change. Whether it's mornings, dinner time, or even just to climb out of a pile of kids' clothes, my course Family Routines can save you. I hold your hand as we smooth out these rough patches, making every day easier so we can more easily handle when your preschooler tells you they can use their urine like a lightsaber. Parenting is always going to be a wild ride. Routines are just your seatbelt, and they can support you. Use coupon code UNTANGLED to save 15% at checkout. Link in the show notes. Hey, Jen, welcome to the Pulling Curls podcast.
Hello, Hillary. Thank you for having me.
Guys, we have a fun and yet also painful subject today.
Oh, so painful. It depends on what side you're on of this, but yes, so painful.
Oh, TikTok. TikTok makes this so much fun. Especially for people who try to educate, I think. So, Jen, have you seen mom shaming on TikTok? Actual straight up mom shaming?
100 million% in time. 100 million times also. It's everywhere.
Yeah. Do you see it in real life? Because we both have kids.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Friends, family, but oh yeah.
I definitely see it more on TikTok.
Because people are so much more likely to say things when they don't have to say it to your real face. You know what I'm saying? Like people get a confidence that they would not have in real life. For sure.
Unfortunately. Also, fortunately, in some ways. I mean, there is a slight benefit to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've definitely seen people shame, whenever any of my like influencer friends show a baby in a car seat, I'm like, oh, don't do it. Just don't even show it.
Yep. It doesn't matter what your car seat looks like. There's going to be something. There's definitely going to be something.
Yep.
And I've definitely seen some things that, yeah, sure, we need to talk about it. But it's a very, very sensitive subject for a lot of people.
But I will say that when people come at you with the car seat talk, it is like you're Brittany holding your baby on your lap, where
right?
They're just like,
yeah.
Do you see the gap there?
Yes. Absolutely. I can't believe that you would even dare to put your child in. Oh yeah, absolutely.
So much danger with the car seat.
Very much.
Okay. Have people ever told you mom shamed?
I don't think I've ever been told that I've mom shamed. I feel like I'm so much of just a mess in general that I don't know that people would ever see me as like doing something or trying to act like I'm knowing more. I don't know. I don't think I have. If I have, email me and I'll apologize. But I don't think that I have.
I definitely get called out when I talk about the ABCs of safe sleep. People are always like, why are you shaming the co-sleepers? Yeah. And I am a huge safe sleep. We had a mom who suffocated her child. And ever since then, I'm a huge safe sleep advocate. But I also understand that you are likely going to fall asleep at some point holding your baby.
Yes.
So.
And now that you say that, like if I'm talking about the importance of vitamin K or something like that. Oh man, how dare I? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely some of that for sure.
It is hard. And I say this in my prenatal class that people are going to fall asleep holding the baby. So you need to have a plan. And then when it happens, you need to say never again. Like, this is never going to happen again. This was my one time.
Yeah.
And, try and have some safety in the area that you are feeding the baby, all those different kinds of things. But at the same point, you will always hear me baby alone on their back in a crib or bassinet or whatever.
And Hillary, it's those things that we have personal experience with that are the things that we're most passionate about. Like I had to go down to the emergency department one time to do molds on a baby who he was like 2, but he had passed away from ingesting a button battery.
Oh.
So like that's something that I'm really passionate about, and making sure that people know, don't use these toys, don't use, because these come in children's toys, and ingesting a button battery can be and is fatal. So, just like you had the experience with a mom, falling asleep with her baby and having a really bad outcome. A lot of times the people who get called out for shaming on something that is something that they may try to be educating about is often because they've had a really bad experience.
Yeah. And I have similar things to backup cameras and jacuzzi covers for similar reasons. Yeah. So yeah. And I think especially as nurses, we have seen so many worst case scenarios because of our job.
Yeah.
We tend to get really passionate when we're educating on stuff, even though just like, most often these aren't going to be problematic. Most often you can go sleep and it won't be problematic.
Right.
So and the problem is, so my TikTok channel is pretty much just all educational. So I think a lot of people think, oh, she's shaming me because she's educating that way. And I think some people feel like that when they go to the pediatrician, and they're asking them like, what do you feed your baby? When really they just want to know.
Yeah, exactly. And I had a time where we asked that question. We had a really, really sick baby get brought into the ER. Like this was years and years ago. But this kid was septic, like super, super sick. And I was trying to figure out what's going on. And I was like, so what are you feeding your baby? And this kid's like 3 months old. And they're like, milk. And I was like, what does this mean? Like, what is this milk? Tell me this milk. And they were feeding the baby watered down cow's milk at 3 months old. That was only part of the problem. But yeah, us asking questions is not trying to shame at all. Like, for instance, like all of the admission questions that you go through.
Yep.
Like, who do you live? Like one of the questions that we ask is like, do you participate in any like community resources like food stamps or something? And I hope that nobody who I'm asking that to thinks that I'm like trying to shame them or, because there's so many questions that we just need to know to be able to help you better.
Yes. Yeah. But it can feel shaming. I will say, so I don't get any breast milk. And on my third baby, the hospital was very baby friendly, woke me up at 2 a.m. to have me fill out the form about how my child would likely die because I wasn't going to breastfeed it. At 2 a.m. after you've had a baby, it basically was the I'm a bad mom form.
Right.
And I knew what the form was, but it still felt there was shame. Brene Brown, I was filled with shame.
She's filled with shame. Oh, and I'm sorry about that. I hear lots of stories about that, especially with the breastfeeding stuff.
Yeah.
And because baby friendly hospitals are not always, new mama friendly.
No.
Because there's a lot of emotions and it's hard to be a brand new mom and to add on that extra stress of like, we need you to sign this form saying that you will accept liability that you're hurting your baby,
right,
by giving him formula.
Yeah.
Like whatever.
I was going to hurt him more if I didn't feed him at all. Where's that consent form?
Right? Where's that one? I haven't seen that one yet.
And I will say as a new mom, everything almost feels shaming. Your mother-in-law comes over and just like makes one tiny comment and you're like, I cannot believe she said that. That really hurt my feelings. Even though your feelings are everywhere. So it would be impossible not to hurt a feeling.
Yeah. Even if it's just like a face or like a pregnant pause whenever they enter your house, like your brain is like, what is she thinking about me? She's thinking I'm a bad mom because I have laundry that I haven't folded. Like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So some of it is definitely inside us. So here's the big question. How do we educate without people feeling shame? I mean, some of that has to be on the receiving end because yeah. I mean, hopefully people who follow us on these accounts understand that we really are there to just educate on best practices and they are likely not ones that we follow all the time, right?
Right, exactly. I saw a beautiful example of this yesterday. I don't know if you follow Beach Gym.
Oh yeah.
On
She's a pediatric ER nurse or doctor, sorry.
ER doctor, yeah. So there was, and I'm sure that a lot of people have seen this particular person on the TikTok, and I'm not going to say her name or give her any more exposure, but there's a person on TikTok who is very vocal, so loud and so wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of person who's giving medical advice for mothers who has zero credentials to do so. And she had made a video about vitamin K and how it's not necessary. And so Beach Gym had done a response video, very, very respectful, very, but just giving the actual evidence and science behind it. And I was like, chef's kiss, beautiful, because that's how we should be doing it all the time. Not like, you're stupid.
Yeah.
Like, where's your education? But it is okay to explain things. But I think it's less like needing anecdote. Like, there was one time that I was part of this thing and this baby died. It's more just showing the numbers, the evidence.
Right.
And there's a lot of times that people are like, well, it's only, 1% or whatever. Do you know how many that is?
Yep.
Like, those are people.
That's one kid in your grade level, not there, like at school.
Exactly. So, yeah, she is lovely, wonderful, wonderful person, and a great example of how we can educate without feeling like we're degrading people.
Yeah. I will say she also shows that she's a mom who suffers from many mom things also. And I probably don't show that because I don't have a newborn. I mean, I'm not sad about it because newborns are hard, but
me neither.
But I never am just like, hey, I fell asleep last night while I was, I can't say that. I can say that I did, but.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that, on my TikTok specifically, I'm very open about all of my shortcomings in my life. So if we are only portraying ourselves to be like, perfect in all ways, it's harder for people to accept advice from us.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel, I guess, real. I saw a video, I think it was 2 weeks ago, of a mom saying, basically, if your house isn't clean, you're a bad mom. Like, you're abusing your children if your house is not clean, which is so funny to me because, so I run an organization called Hot Mess Express.
Yes, which is amazing.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I love hearing that. So the way it works is that we, as a group of moms, go in and rescue other moms from the things that are overwhelming to them. So like dishes, laundry, organization, just giving them a reset to be able to move forward in their lives. So most recently we helped a mom who's in liver failure, and she couldn't get her energy up, and she has reasons to not feel so great. But we've also helped moms with depression and anxiety and just life stuff that's happened. But those are wonderful, absolutely wonderful mothers who want so desperately for their children to be in a really, nice environment, and they know to ask for help. But to say that if you don't have a clean house, like, you're a bad mom, like, come on.
I mean,
come on.
How many people have we seen that do have a clean house that are bad moms?
Right? That is a great point. Yeah, let's look at the opposite of that for sure.
And I will say, because I have teens, I have one that's graduating college this year. So I have older kids, and I will say no one at the high school is mom shaming each other. We are literally just like, it's amazing your kids are alive.
Just getting through it. Yeah. Good work.
Does anyone have any ideas on how to make teaching a kid how to drive a car more painful? And we're all like, nope, it's just going to be the absolute worst. I wish they made an epidural for that. Good luck.
Exactly. Epidural for that. Absolutely. Yeah. If having an absolute wreck of a house makes you a good mother, I am the best.
Literally winning at this job.
I wish that I could turn. I know that the people on the world won't be able to see, but man, it is looking snazzy in this house right now.
I mean, kids are going to make it so that things are lived in.
Yeah, exactly. And I choose to not spend my entire life chasing that, like trying to redo what they've undone. I think
so much of it is what is in your mind. So if I want to tidy up the house because it's driving me insane, then I will, but I don't. Yeah. I don't care what other people's houses look like, because I know I have a little bit of a neuroses about like things being put away. I think that's part of me. It probably makes me a worse mom, honestly.
At least you're teaching your kids though, like, to be, maybe cleaner people in their own lives.
Nope. That's a no.
Nope.
It's a hard pass.
Not at all.
I'm constantly like, daughter, if you had an emergency during the middle of the night, I don't know how I would get to you. I feel like let's watch some Hoarders together.
Oh man. Oh yeah. That helps me feel better about myself, because Hoarders I used to watch to get like motivation to clean, and now it just is like, it could be worse. That's what I say. It could be worse.
This could be me.
I'm fine.
Yeah. So I think the main thing, if I were to sum this up, is try not to get your feelings hurt. I don't think most people are trying to shame, especially when it's like a thought out thing on Instagram. Some are, don't get me wrong. Some are 100%
Yeah,
there
definitely.
to shame. But I think somebody, if they're just like trying to educate you and there's somebody that has credentials, because I think you need to watch that,
Yeah, exactly.
just take it as like, okay, they're just giving me some options and some data, and I'm just going to figure this out for myself because that's literally how we all are.
Yep. And you'll hear from both sides of people saying, do your own research. That's something I hear a lot when I'm seeing videos from people who are advocating for things that we know to be unsafe due to evidence. They'll say, do your own research. And I totally would, yes, say that. That's absolutely a great thing to do. But whenever you're doing your own research, you need to be doing deep dives into people who actually have credentials and can show you the evidence of what they're talking about by science. You know what I'm saying? And not anecdote and not like, I did this and my kid's fine, but hard evidence from credentialed and like respectable people who are experts in their field.
Yeah, it is hard. I get it because it's hard.
And not like mommy bloggers and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it is hard. And also finding a doctor that is like kind of on what you want. Like I want a very conservative pediatrician that's not going to freak out at small things. That's the kind of pediatrician I want. Some people want a pediatrician that's going to be super aggressive no matter like if they see anything that deviates, right?
Right. Yeah.
So,
because it makes them feel better, because you're being able to pass off that anxiety that you have onto someone and be like, okay, this person's going to figure it out for me. But as nurses too, my kids know we don't go to the ER unless we're dying. So I'm with you. Like I'm very conservative as far as like, if the doctor doesn't say we need it, then we're not going to need it,
Yeah. Or we'll check back in or give me a prescription I can fill on my own. Thank you. Give me a forever prescription that I could just have at my house.
Exactly. I know. One of my least favorite things is having to go back to the doctor. Like for instance, my doctor I take Celexa and, it has like a no refill at some point, and they make you go back. I don't want to go back. I'm fine. Don't make me go back.
Telemedicine is probably the best thing ever, right? Like just a quick Zoom call. Look at me. I'm doing fine. Here's today's paper. This isn't pre-recorded.
Exactly. Yeah. And the doctor that is my doctor, I work with him. I want to be like, can't you just like, you see me? I'm fine. He said, it doesn't work that way.
Ugh, stupid doctors.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. We love them.
Yeah. And also if you are consistently feeling shamed by somebody, just stop following them, block them. I feel like on TikTok blocking has a bad connotation. I got like reamed once because I just finally blocked somebody. I just didn't want to hear from her anymore. And honestly, on the other social media, I don't feel like it's that big of a deal. Probably because you can mute people.
Yeah, it's really odd.
But I mean, I had a nursing professor just ream me a new one for finally just blocking her because I was like, I can't keep dealing with you and your professional ideation.
Yeah. And take an inventory of how you feel when you are consuming someone's content. And if it makes you feel educated, empowered, like appreciated or loved, like those are the kind of things that we want to feel about ourselves. If you're feeling obviously shamed or not good enough or those kind of things, those are the people that you just need to cut them out, because there's plenty of people who will serve you beautiful content on a platter that will give you all of the education with the love behind it. So yeah, I can't remember who said this. I feel like my mom told me that Lauren Daigle said it, but it has changed my life. So give people permission to misunderstand you. And I feel like in your own personal life, like there's plenty of people maybe in your family or whatever that are going to have thoughts about your home or your children or whatever. But being able to let people think whatever they want to think has really transformed the way that I view my own life. Right? Because you give so much energy to trying to make people happy and all that stuff. But when it comes to mom shaming, has really been helpful to me.
Yeah. I think that's great advice. And also just like be proud of what you're trying to accomplish as a mom. Like nobody has your specific kids. Nobody understands your specific circumstances. I mean, that's the beauty of being a nurse. You really get to understand a specific person and their specific, and you're always like, yep, what you did makes sense. I understand why you fell asleep while you were feeding the baby because you hadn't slept in 7 years.
Exactly. There's really only two things that I think are non-negotiables whenever it comes to your kids: that they are safe and that they know that they're loved. I think those are the only two things. That all the other stuff is just fluff. But if you have kids that grow up and know that they are loved and appreciated, man, you've done an incredible job.
Yeah. And we all get into habits or do things that aren't great for our kids, you know?
For sure.
I think so many people are like, breastfeeding's such a big decision. And looking back, I'm like, it was such a small decision. There are so many worse decisions I made as a mom. So many.
Yep. Oh yeah, definitely. We all screw up. All of us screw up.
Yeah.
And it's just about how we like, there's unsafe stuff that I did as a new mom that I found out was not great stuff. And I changed my habits. It's like, know better, do better. So, it's just about keeping our kiddos safe and loved and in this crazy world. Oh my gosh, so crazy.
Yeah. And love each other. Like find those friends that are just like, isn't that crazy what she said on TikTok? You are doing such a great job as a mom. Like, why don't we say that to each other more often?
Right.
Instead of like harping on where they like might have made a mistake. Those aren't your people. Find your people.
Exactly. And if it is something that you see that's like truly life threatening that you're seeing someone doing and you really think that something needs to be said, don't just come out and say that. You need to be praising people for the things that they are doing really, really well. And not just when you need to have a conversation. We need to be lifting each other up every single day. So that if there is something that we do need to have a conversation about, they know that it's coming from a place of love and that you already appreciate all the things that they do.
Yeah. Because usually it's just little tiny things that people end up getting shamed on, really in the big picture of things. I know that like breastfeeding or I guess car seat safety might seem like a big thing, but it really is a very small thing in the big picture of how long these kids are going to be troubling you.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So today's challenge for everybody is to tell a mom what a great job she's doing. Let's stop the mom shaming.
What a great challenge.
Let's start the mom praising. I don't know. Praise is kind of a weird word.
Yeah. And check in on your buddies, check in on your friends, because motherhood is super lonely. And, if you're thinking about a mom today that you haven't talked to in a while, just see how she's doing.
Yes. Just send a text. I think texting, I so often just send, hey, I was just thinking of you and how, fill it in, how fun you are. I wish I could be with you today. Like, I wish we could do lunch instead of being here with macaroni and cheese getting thrown at me.
Right.
All right. Jen, I think you do such a good job of that on TikTok. So be sure and follow Jen Hamilton on TikTok.
Thank you so much.
She does a lot of good work. So she will not shame you. And if she is, it's just a mistake.
I will try not to. It's a misunderstanding, and email me and I'll apologize.
Thanks for coming on, Jen.
All right. Thank you so much, Hillary.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I think we all need to remember that we are all really just doing our best. And also that education isn't mom shaming, but I know that it can feel that way. But most of that, I really promise you, is coming from you, not me. Like, I understand that we are just trying to do our best. Even in the hospital, when I'm like, oh man, we've got a train wreck here, I realize that she is still doing her best. So we are all just trying so hard. So let's not shame each other and let's not get our feelings hurt. This is talking to me as much as anyone else. Okay, next week's episode is going to be with a doctor where we are talking about things you might want to refuse in the hospital, even though they're like routine in the hospital. And then the week after that, we were talking about strep throat because before I did labor and delivery, I did a lot of throat swabbing. So we'll untangle it that week. Stay tuned. Thanks so much for joining us on today's episode. We know you have lots of options for your ears, and we are glad that you chose us. We drop episodes weekly, and until next time, we hope you have a tangle-free day.